Hi everyone, welcome to winter in Canberra. It's -1, which is actually not as cold as it has been for the past couple of days, and I just wanted to show you this. Let me turn the camera around. So yeah, this is fairly standard to have all of this ice. Not even terribly thick this morning. It's quite thin, but really I just wanted to show you this because I'll be showing you this plant later on in the day. These are some of our broad beans, and you can see that they're all sort of flopped over and all of the rest of it. There's a bit of frost. Again, nowhere near as heavy as we've already had this week. But I just wanted to give you an idea that whilst things react to the frost, and you can see that in this bed of brassicas here, things are floppy. There's like very dark colour. There's actual frost on the leaves. Later today, I'll come back out and show you what the garden looks like. Things are very quiet, but things are happening under the ground. Not so good above the ground. And you can see over here that our sorrel has completely flopped over. Hang on a second and I'll show you what it looks like now. All of these plants have come back to life, have stood upright since they got frosted this morning, and it's 20 to 3 in the afternoon and it's 13 degrees. Yay, go Canberra. So one of the things that's so important to any winter garden is water. And like a house plant, you do still need to water. Don't need to water frequently, but you do need to water in winter. And that's actually the key. So give your plants a water if it's been dry, and certainly if the weather's frosty, it is well worth giving them a drink because they need to get the water flowing up into their stems so they can actually come good on frosty days, because it's actually lack of water or lack of sufficient water is one of the main reasons that plants die. Not just the frost, it's not just the cold temperature, it is actually lack of available water. So there's a hot tip for you. And here, just looking at these plants, which you also saw this morning. There's Dad. Hello Dad, how are you? Come down to get something from the garden. But again, all of these plants have come good since this morning. They're looking better. These silver beet leaves that were down and droopy are all standing upright. And I am actually going to just give all of this a quick water this afternoon just to make sure that they're all in good condition, because we haven't had rain for, well over a week, probably close to 2 weeks. This is great. I'm just out here as like a king parrot has just landed over here. I'm going to see if I can zoom in. There he is. It's a male king parrot. Isn't he just spectacular? Yep, showing off. I suspect he's coming down for water. So gorgeous. Oh, you know what he's doing? He's eating the seed pods off the chickweed. A bit hard for you to see, and I don't really want to go too much closer. So really, there he goes. We've had to dig this rose out of the garden. It's been planted in the ground for quite a few years. I'm going to put it in this pot. Not necessarily what I want to do, but I really need to do this now. It'll be a temporary solution because we haven't decided what we're going to do. I thought I'd take this opportunity to show you how to identify the key bits of the rose and to prune it ready to go into here. And I figure you can work out putting the soil into the pot. So I'm just going to skip that bit. This bit is the rootstock, and it's generally from a really tough wild variety of rose. This is not what your flowers come from. They come from this bit up here, which is the graft, and this is where the graft is, this big wide section here. And you can see, try and get it that way, you can see that I've already taken off various bits of growth over the years. I mean, I can't remember, this is probably what I can see, at least 4, 5 pieces there, so it's probably been in the ground at least 5 years. What we've got coming up are some newish shoots on this side, We've got a totally dead branch here, and there's a lot of messy bits in here which I'll have to tidy up. I'm going to start by removing this bit and then deciding which of the new pieces I'm going to keep and which I'm going to get rid of. And it will be brutal. What you've got to understand is roses can take brutality, but all the good stuff grows from above the graft. So if you've got stuff coming from down here, down below, you do not want to encourage that. You want to get rid of that. But these are all the proper grafted rows. I need to work on this top half of this plant. Just to go over those points again, this is the rootstock, this is the graft. You only want to have plant stems above the graft is what you are keeping. Anything lower down, anything coming from the roots, you do not want. So, first things first, as I say, get rid of dead, dying and crossing bits. Just get my other glove on. And yes, I've got the leather gloves because this is a rose. I'm going to take this one out. Now, I have here what I'd call a crossing piece. I've also got 2 good shoots here, and I think the way this is going, I'm actually going to take this whole shoot out. It's got all this messy stuff, and it is the oldest piece. You can tell by the way the bark looks. This is the oldest piece on this plant. I want the new bits, not this old bit. So this is coming off as well. As I say, roses, tough love. And I have actually seen roses pruned back with a chainsaw that came back brilliantly the following year. This is what I'm left with. Looks awful, but it will do. So what we're looking for is what we call an outward facing bud, and there's one here. I could possibly take it down to this point as well, but I think I'll just go for this one that's up here. That's an outward facing bud, and I'm going to make a cut at an angle above that. Here we go. No need to do anything to this, just leave it. It'll look after itself. This one's a bit trickier. Nothing really obvious except very low down. There's an outward facing bud down there. I'm just going to see if I can spot anything else that might work. There's a bud. Well, there could be a bud. If I cut this here, there'd probably be a bud come from that as well. But I think I'm just going to go for this one. As I said, it just looks so brutal, but that's what I need to do. And that is what is left of my rose to plant. Don't panic, she'll be right. So this is what I've removed, all of this, and this is what's left. And believe me, this rose will come back without any problems. Now I've got it in the pot, there's just a couple of critical things. I want the graft well up above the soil level, and there's that rootstock there. I can see where it's roughly been planted to previously, so I'll put the soil up to about this level, and then that will stay above the soil. And the idea is to make sure, or to try and ensure, that no new shoots come from the rootstock, only stuff from the graft. I haven't quite filled the pot yet. I will be finishing that off in a second, and then I'm going to take this and shift it back over to the place where it will be permanently. I'll water it over there. I really don't need to carry a couple of extra kilos of water with me at the same time. It's hard to think of it this way, but we are harvesting in the middle of winter, and what we're harvesting is our citrus. So lemons, yuzu, more Meyer Lemons over here, and I'll bring you around and show you the red centre limes just in a minute. We're going to do some obvious things. We're going to be juicing. We're going to use the peel. We're going to process the juice, and we can freeze that to make it store more easily. This is our red centre lime, and in fact the bulk of the fruit has already fallen off, so I'm just going to be collecting that and stripping off the rest of the fruit from the tree before I process. And yeah, they're so ripe, they're just literally falling off in my hands. Whoops. There goes one. And I must say, this is the best crop we have had on this bush, I think, in all the time we've had it. I just have to be careful. There are so many spikes. So many spikes on these plants. They are not user-friendly. Ouch. Why does everything I pick come with giant spines? These are my Yuzu. Yum. So beautiful. Gosh, I wish you could smell how beautiful these Yuzu are. I think that's all of them off the tree now. All right, let's go and process these. I'm giving these all a quick wash. The Yuzu in particular seem, for some reason, have like a sticky coating on them. Just quickly clean off anything I can see. Same for the red centre limes. These red centre limes are a real pain to peel. Such thin skin. And yeah, don't really want to be there. I don't know, I might just call it after a while if I find it's too hard and just stick to the Yuzu. Just the Yuzu are so easy to peel in comparison. I'd much rather just deal with the ones that want to be peeled. The Yuzu are full of seeds, so squeezing them is going to be fun. There's a lot of seeds and not a lot of juice. And I'm going to also do a second straining because I'm not convinced that I'm going to get all of the seeds out of the juice when I'm doing it. Barely covering the bottom of the juicer at this point in time. This is really nice if you're having a hot toddy or something. Just have a bit of Yuzu juice in it is absolutely gorgeous, which is what we'll be mainly using these for. So in the end, this is the amount of Yuzu we got, and I think I'll just measure it out. I suspect it's only going to be about a cup's worth. So we'll get 3/4 of a cup of juice, not much. These red centre limes have a structure which is a bit similar to the two finger limes, in that they seem to have like not quite the same structure as a regular citrus, but a bit more of that, what they call the pearls of a finger lime, sort of a bit of a cross between the two. So they're surprisingly juicy for such a tiny fruit, and you can see when I sort of squeeze them out, the pearls are staying behind. When I put that through the sieve, just to make sure that there's no seeds in it, I can actually get quite a bit more juice out of those pearls. In the end, I only got 2 small jars. This is the Yuzu juice and this is the red centre lime juice, and I think we're going to add these to some hot toddies, hopefully in the not too distant future. Perfect weather for it at least. And we have the peel starting to dry out, so I just can't wait to see how that turns out. Is this feral enough for Feral Manor?